Jack Harper had once been a name etched in honor. A decorated Vietnam veteran, he had led men through jungles where death lurked behind every tree. His medals sat in a dusty box, untouched for years, because glory didn't mean much when you came home to a country that didn't want to remember your war. He carried ghosts. Some nights, he woke up screaming the names of soldiers who never made it home. Other nights, he drank until the memories blurred. And on this night, a drunken fight at a bar had landed him in a county jail cell, head bowed low, shoulders heavy with shame. Jack wasn't dangerous anymore, just tired. Tired of fighting wars no one cared about. Tired of being invisible. In the same cell sat Emily Carter, a young woman with fiery eyes and a stubborn spirit. She wasn't a criminal, she was there because she refused to stay quiet when her landlord tried to evict her sick mother illegally. She pushed back, and the law, as it often does in small towns, sided with power. Her father had also been a soldier, one who came home only to drown in silence and despair. Emily had watched him shrink under the weight of memories, watched him fade until he was gone. And when she looked across the cell at Jack Harper, sitting slumped in the corner, she saw her father's eyes staring back. That's why when the troublemakers arrived, rowdy young men tossed in for vandalism and fighting, Emily stayed close to Jack. She could sense what was coming. The boys spotted Jack right away. To them, he was prey. Gray-haired, shaky hands, slow movements. Easy target. Look at this old man, Kyle, their leader, sneered. Bet he fought in a war just to end up here with us. Pathetic. His friends laughed, the kind of laughter that cuts deeper than words. Jack said nothing. He was used to it, but silence only fueled their cruelty. Kyle stepped closer, boots thudding against the concrete floor. He raised his leg, ready to drive it into Jack's ribs. And then Emily moved. Without hesitation, she threw herself in front of Jack, taking the blow with her own body. The impact sent her sprawling, pain shooting across her side. Gasps filled the cell. Even the guards looked up, stunned. Jack scrambled to her, horrified. "Why would you do that?" he whispered. Through clenched teeth, Emily answered. "Because no one shielded my father. I won't let history repeat itself." Those words pierced Jack's heart. For the first time in decades, someone had seen him, not the failure, not the drunk, not the broken man, but the soldier, the human being. The town was small, and word traveled fast. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, whispers had reached the bar on the edge of town, the bar where the Hells Angels gathered. When Razor, their leader, heard that a veteran was being beaten inside a county jail, his face darkened. Engines roared to life. One by one, bikes rolled out, headlights cutting through the darkness. The rumble grew louder, shaking the very ground beneath them. People peered out of windows as dozens of leather-clad bikers thundered down the road toward the jailhouse. Inside, the guards froze. The inmates rushed to the tiny windows, eyes wide with fear and awe. And then, the doors shook as chains clattered around them. The Hells Angels were locking the jailhouse from the outside. Razor's voice bellowed through the night. "You harm a veteran again, you answer to us." The same boys who had mocked Jack now shrank back, their bravado gone. Kyle's voice cracked as he tried to laugh it off, but everyone could see the terror in his eyes. Emily, still aching from the kick, looked at them with quiet triumph. "Looks like respect just rolled in on two wheels," she muttered. Jack stared out the window at the sea of bikers, his chest tightening. He hadn't felt this kind of solidarity since his days in uniform. For the first time in years, he felt protected. The sheriff was called. Backup swarmed in. But Razor and his men didn't budge. They weren't there for violence. They were there for honor. Razor pressed his face against the bars of the window. His eyes locked on Jack. "Harper," he said, his voice like gravel. "We know your name. We know what you gave. You're not forgotten." Jack's throat tightened. He wanted to say something, but the words stuck. His eyes, wet with tears, said enough. The sheriff tried to argue, to threaten. But in the end, the angels didn't need fists or bullets. Their presence was enough. They held the line until the young punks were pulled from the cell block, humbled and shaking. By dawn, Emily was bailed out. Jack's case was suddenly reviewed, his charges softened. It was as if the whole town realized at once what they had overlooked, the quiet dignity of a veteran who had already paid his dues. When Jack stepped out of the jailhouse, the angels were waiting. They didn't cheer. They didn't clap. They simply nodded. A gesture of respect from one warrior to another. Razor clapped Jack on the shoulder. "You fought for this country. Now we fight for you." That evening, Jack and Emily sat in the Angels' bar. Whiskey glasses clinked, but the atmosphere was solemn, reverent. "You shielded him," Razor said to Emily. "And we shielded you both. That's family. Doesn't matter if it's blood or not." The bikers roared in agreement. For Emily, it was the family she'd never had. For Jack, it was redemption, proof that even after years of silence, a soldier's worth was not erased. The story of that night spread far beyond the town. Some people called it reckless, others called it justice. But for those who were there, it was unforgettable. Because in a world that often forgets its heroes, one woman's courage and one brotherhood's loyalty lit a fire of respect. And Jack Harper,